Hello and welcome to the Whoniverse and to a brand new video. Now with the Doctor Who festive special what feels like years away, I've been thinking about the last time we saw the Doctor on our screens, abruptly placed into lockdown, stuck in one place without warning, and with no idea for how long. Oh wait a second, that sounds awfully familiar. Yeah, the cliffhanger for Series 12's finale saw our worn and weathered hero about to take a breather from some hefty events. I'm going to try my best not to spoil too much of the actual episode, and focus purely on the ending. For her entire past became a bit clearer, but changed, questioning her identity at first, but now confident in who she is, once more, the Doctor. Ready for more adventures, except on return to her TARDIS, she is cornered by a platoon of Judoon in a bigger on the inside room, and seemingly thrown into a huge space prison for all eternity. So in this video I'm going to try and work out why the trigger-happy rhinos are arresting her and some potential ideas as to why the Doc's been isolated in a prison cell. So let's look at the scene as the Judoon transmat in their unit's leader, who appears to be the same Judoon from episode Fugitive of the Judoon, who's called Polkon Don. And it seems she got her horn back after it was ripped off by Ruth Clayton. Unless it's not the same rampaging rhino, and Mohawks are actually back in fashion, with the episode's script calling the Judoon a he and simply Judoon Captain, unlike the name Judoon in episode 5. Now having cornered the Doctor, he says Judoon Cold Case Unit, Fugitive, the Doctor, Sentence, Whole of Life Imprisonment, Maximum Security Facility, Punishment, Immediate. And with that, our hero is transported to her very own prison cell, a small speck in this huge meteor full of prisoners floating in deep space. Firstly, how did the police for hire get inside the TARDIS? The Doctor's phone box is a technical marvel, often commenting on how nothing can get through those wooden doors. If the TARDIS is without power or shields are switched off, then yes, it's not difficult to damage or enter. But when it's powered up, the space and time travelling machine is fitted with extrapolator shielding. Adapting from a Slavine's stolen pan-dimensional surfboard, it has enough force to block a fleet of Daleks. However, saying this, in Series 12 we saw the Cassava make their way through the time capsule's doors, so it's not impossible, just a bit unlikely. Another question the scene raises is why didn't the Judoon just enact their swift justice and sentence the Doctor to death, like the rhinoforms have done to so many others, from assaulting an officer in a coffee shop to murdering the child princess of Padravol Regency 9. It seems the death sentence is a go-to for these armoured rhinos. Then again, perhaps their codes and convictions are changed depending on who they are hired by, punishing the Doctor with the irony of time. Yes, some people say time is something that helps and heals, but instead it's a measure that punishes, it's cruel. Now the Judoon most commonly work for the Shadow Proclamation, who on their last appearance stated that the Doctor is not their concern. This could have changed with the present posing a slight resemblance to the Shadow Proclamation's HQ. Whether this is intentional or not, we'll have to wait and see. So, if it's not going to be down to the bringers of law and order in many parts of the universe, then who else could be after the Doctor? Well, when the Judoon storms in, they bark in a gravelly voice about it being a cold case, the Doctor a fugitive. The definition of these police phrases gives us a bit more of an insight, with a fugitive meaning a person who has escaped from captivity or is in hiding, and cold case an unsolved criminal investigation which remains open pending the discovery of new evidence. So to answer who's after the two-hearted time traveller, we need to know what she did to make her a fugitive and what new evidence or discovery brought her back into the eyes of the law. Now the most obvious answer is that she's being arrested for whatever the fugitive Doctor's crimes were, that were first mentioned during the Fugitive of the Judoon. In that episode, Ruth was pursued by the Time Lord Gat alongside a platoon of Judoon. This is likely when the Judoon gained their ability to rudely barge into a TARDIS like, well, giant rhinos actually. The unknown crime almost certainly has something to do with the Doctor's work with the Division, and it's likely why she left them and fled to Earth in the first place. Now this crime isn't something that she did for the Time Lords. No, I think it's a mission that she accepted but didn't complete, one that perhaps led to some trouble for the Time Lords later down the timeline, similar in the ways to the moment of choice in Genesis of the Daleks, being the first spark to help light the embers of the Great Flaming Time War. The Division could be the beginnings of the Celestial Intervention Agency, a Time Lord organisation first mentioned in 1976 story The Deadly Assassin, and later established in Doctor Who spin-off Media. To be a covert organisation who, like the Division, often violated the Time Lord's policy of non-interference, operating in secret so as to give plausible deniability to the High Council. Maybe a species was saved that shouldn't have even existed. Perhaps the Doctor killed another agent of the Division to save an innocent life, or maybe she's been framed the entire time. Whatever this crime was, it was the Doctor's people who ordered the hit. They sent Gat, the Judoon, forced the Doctor into hiding, and then they stopped chasing. Why? Because it's hard to be in pursuit if you're dead. The Time Lords' lives extinguished seemingly forevermore by another maniacal laughing force. So unless we've got some time travelling overlap, the Judoon are seemingly acting on this case from long ago, clinging onto their orders from their Gallifreyans, even in the scenario of not getting paid. Arresting the Doctor has been a long time coming. It's weird because one of the character's first lines in the show, all the way back in 1963, claims the Doctor and his granddaughter Susan are fugitives in their own way. Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Have you? To be exiles? Susan and I are cut off from our own planet without friends or protection. But one day we shall get back. Yes, one day. One day. It's weird to see the Doctor through the eyes of the civilization he grew up within, looking at the character from the outside as a threat like the hybrid or the Valiard, a fugitive or a renegade. The Doctor really isn't a hero and isn't innocent, taking lives and getting worse, even manipulating some to take their own. And of course, who said he ever went to a showroom and bought the TARDIS? Nope, he stole that too. So as our Doctor takes her first steps to finding out why she's been imprisoned, we'll be beside her taking our own first steps into an exciting new era of storytelling, as the scene seems to welcome us into more discoveries and mysteries for a character who's let everything she thought she knew fade from her and change it into this much greater and grander tale, with layers she may never find. Now how much of this gets answered in the Doctor Who Festive Special Revolution of the Daleks, we'll have to wait to find out, but one thing we already know, the squids from Skaro, the pepper pots from the Doctor's past, will be returning. It's the title that kind of gives it away. How are the Daleks involved, and will the Doctor be released in time to save the universe from the menace? And of course, how will the casual viewer find this upcoming episode, whose first exposure to Who is in the festive season? Could this episode be too heavy in terms of lore to interest a new viewer, or can it have the potential to broadcast how detailed and expansive the Doctor Who universe really is? It's a tricky one. With all that said, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and if you want to experience some bonus rewards, then be sure to check out my Patreon page like Time Lord tier supporter Stefan Pastran, who gets to see a selection of my videos 24 hours before anyone else, receives a shout out and brand new downloadable poster every single month. If they sound like things you'd be interested in, then check out my Patreon page and help the channel grow. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.